Everyone, and welcome to our August meeting of Tobacco Settlement Agreement Fund Oversight Committee. And before we begin, I would like to ask Senator Webb if she could lead us in a prayer, please.
Be glad to. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and being with our colleagues and talking about things we love here, doing the people's business in the Capitol. And we would ask you to be with the people of East Kentucky as we're trying to recover from devastating floods, and remember those who lost lives, their families, and may their memory go on. And even though we appreciate so much our co-chairman, it's just not the same without Senator Embry. So remember he and his family in your prayers, and hope to have him back here real soon. And be with us as we travel home and lead us to make the right decisions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to ask everyone to stand. I'll ask Representative Roberts if she would lead us in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I'll ask the secretary if she can call the roll, please.
Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Hornback, Senator Parrott, Senator Webb, Senator Westerfield, Representative Brown,
Here.
Representative King,
Present.
Representative Pratt,
Here.
Representative Reed,
Here.
Representative Roberts,
Here.
Co-Chair Embry, and Co-Chair Dossett.
Present. I believe Representative King has some guests she would like to introduce.
I do indeed. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today we are honored to have Lord's Legacy Ministry with us today from Jessamine County. We are going to have a wonderful day, and this is the beginning of it, starting here in this committee. Mr. Chair, so my group and I can speak about it later. How long is your commute?
Representative, 212 miles. I've been traveling this one for going on 16 years, and it's a 3-hour trip coming from West Kentucky in Christian County here to Frankfort.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Try to remember those numbers. We're going to talk about that later and the difference in Chair Dossett's commute and Representative King's commute. So thank you for being here today. Would the committee please welcome my group, the Lord's Legacy Ministry. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for being here and enjoy your day with Representative King. We'll next move on to approval of the minutes from June. Can I have a motion on those minutes? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Minutes are approved. Next, we will move on and we'll have Brian Lacefield, who's our Executive Director of the Kentucky Office of Ag Policy, and Bill McCloskey come to the desk at the front and allow you to make your presentation. Introduce yourselves and make a presentation.
Good morning, Chairman, Committee. Brian Lacefield, Executive Director of the Kentucky Office of Ag Policy. It's good to be back with you after a 2-month break. We got several things to go over, but I'll give you a brief update on what all has been going on at the office and some of our activities. Since we last visited with you in June, we have finished our CAPE training. Now, I know we utilize that acronym a lot at this meeting, but just to remind everybody what that stands for, that is the County Agriculture Investment Program, and that is by far our biggest county program that we have. About 85% of the county money goes into this menu-based program. It's operated last year in 96 of our counties. So we do annual trainings for our administrators and our extension partners with this program. We did 8 across the state, 2 in western Kentucky, 2 in eastern Kentucky, 2 in central Kentucky, and 2 virtual. So we were able to give everybody multiple opportunities to attend one of these and had well over 200 that participated. So they were very successful, and it was good to be back out in person doing these meetings. Finishing that, we had an opportunity again for additional outreach at the Kentucky Association of Conservation Districts. Outside of Extension, our conservation districts are our second biggest partner group that we have in the delivery of our programs across the state, and they have an annual meeting every year in various parts of the state. This one was in Bowling Green, and we had an opportunity this year. Their leadership asked that we do a breakout session to talk about more of our programs and loans that we have in more detail. Proud to report we had two packed rooms, standing room only, Representative King. I don't usually get a standing room only for when you're talking about ag policy, so I was really pleased to see that crowd and the level of interest that we had. Also a chance to involve several of my team members that were able to be part of this meeting and present. Then also presented to their general session, joining the podium with Commissioner Quarles and FSA State Director Dean Schmore, and our state conservationist within our CS, Greg Stone. So always a great chance to get the other leadership in Kentucky agriculture together and visit. July, we had a joint board meeting bringing together both the Ag Finance and Ag Development Board. We try to do that at least twice in the year so we can travel, see some of the projects. This one simply became because of scheduling conflicts. Senator Webb, we had Deputy Executive Director McCloskey continuing our international work for our program with a trip to Italy. I was surprised we did not have an application when he came back. He's usually so good at recruiting things.
It's in the works. It'll be Ag Finance.
But it was a good chance. Anytime we can get both of our boards together, 12 on one and 18 on the or 16 on the other, you got 28 different board members. Just a true synergy that has gotten with so many ag leaders from across the state. So always enjoy those. Our next one will be in November, and invite any members of the committee or staff to join us on our tours. We'll be spending one day touring projects in Southeast Kentucky, and then we'll be meeting on the following Friday or the next Friday. Had a good opportunity to showcase some of our programs that we have with a U.S. congressional testimony last month. Congressman Comer, who serves as the ranking member on the Oversight Committee, reached out to me. Their subcommittee on environment was having a hearing on regenerative agriculture, and I was able to be the minority party's witness for this hearing, and I used it as a chance to showcase a lot of what we do with both Senator Westerfield and Representative Dossett there, looking at from Christian County, knowing the pioneer work that we did. The very first commercial no-till crop was in Kentucky, in Christian County. A good chance to talk about what we have been doing for decades on regenerative agriculture and being the good stewards of our land, but also was able to talk about the success of this program that we've had with especially on our county level programs of using an incentive-based program for best management practices. With the whole spirit of the CAPE program that I began speaking on, that is the economic carrot to incentivize producers to utilize best management practices on their operation. You see research that's coming out, applied research from our universities, and these are the cutting edge things that we need to be trying, but sometimes there's resistance to try new things in agriculture. And so if we can come in with an incentive to where we can take 50%, 75% of the cost, that gives the producer a little more confidence to try something new on their farm and then see the benefits and continue the practice on. I think you can look back over the last 22 years and look in several of our big programs with our one with beef cattle genetics, what we've done there with forage quality, with technology, and see the results of this program over the years. So that was the basis of my testimony, and it was a good experience to get to do that. The third week in July is always my Travel Kentucky week. I started off with Senator Webb in Greenup County at Kentucky's biggest farm-to-table event. They have been doing this 4 years now in Greenup County, and have taken this event to the first year. They were hoping to sell 200 tickets. They had over 800 this year at the event, and there were folks literally from across Kentucky there attending. But the big takeaway beyond the awareness that you're driving for agriculture Agriculture was the money that they raised for their two agriculture youth programs with 4-H and FFA. Over $40,000 was raised that night for what they were doing. So proud to do that. It always end up in far western Kentucky shortly thereafter for the Waves Ag Day that we have usually rotates around on our far western four counties with Ballard, Carlisle, Hickman, and Fulton, and they work together in an economic development unit to promote their river and develop economic development in the area, and have an Ag Day always in the summer. They've expanded that now to starting a leadership program, and so I was able to join Tony Brannon and some of the members of Congressman Comer's team to talk on a panel to this group about different opportunities in agriculture and in leadership. It was great to do that. I also took Bill and our two summer interns with me, and we worked in as many stops as we could, traveling over 750 miles. So your group, we can talk more about these commutes, Representative King, on what you see when you start driving across Kentucky and how big a state that we are. But we made 11 different stops in there, and I want to share one since you all know Bill so well. We stopped at a watermelon farm in Davis County. And they were raising over 400 acres of watermelon, and that is an intense process. And Bill had a chance to get on the line as they were cleaning the watermelons. They were coming off the field, and so he took on. And if anybody has ever seen the I Love Lucy episode where Lucy is working on the factory and you watch the candy coming on, that is what Bill looked like as he was handling the watermelon on what he was doing for that. One of our additional partners, so I keep talking about our partners with Extension, partners with Conservation. Another huge partner that we have is the KCARD organization, the Kentucky Center for Agriculture and Rural Development. It's an agency that we fund, and it's an agency that we partner with as many applications as we take. We have a resource with this program to where we can refer them to where they can work with an applicant, help them develop a business plan, put together cash flows, and kind of navigate and shepherd them through the application process. I serve on their board as an ex officio board member from my position here, and their executive director, Lita Botts, has announced her resignation, and so we are currently seeking a new executive director. That job is now posted, will run throughout August. We have got an exceptional team there that she manages and will be able to continue on, but are looking to get the right person back in there for leadership. So I mentioned that to make you all aware of that vacancy. Was back down in western Kentucky again the following week to go to a ribbon cutting on one of our new meat processing facilities. Farmstead Butcher Block, Cliff and Carol Welch in Muhlenberg County cut the ribbon on their state-of-the-art facility. It's a $2 million facility we have there, and this is one of our two that are startups. We're complete startups from where we're at. I guess complete new construction. The other one was there in Greenup County. So they both opened soft openings in May, but the official ribbon cutting was last month. But this one had a quick tour and plan to go back and look at that again. Again, beautiful facility with custom processing, USDA inspection, and having a retail front as well. Kentucky Ag Finance. We don't report to you every month on Kentucky Ag Finance, but I want to bring up an update on where we're at. This was our loan program that was set up a few years into our existence to where we do participating loans. We work with commercial lenders, members of our farm credit system, area development districts, and partner with them on doing low interest loans with the drive with an emphasis on beginning farmer and keeping capital moving in rural Kentucky. But we loan all of our funds out at a fixed rate, and as we're seeing interest rates moving up, we're seeing increased interest in this program. You know, we have loan programs for beginning farmers where you can buy your first farm, you can buy into an existing operation, and that's a big percentage of our portfolio. But we also have loan programs with infrastructure, with processing, with agribusinesses, and veterinary medicine. And so we're seeing an increase in all these across the board because our rates have been fixed. We don't have to look at the 10-year treasury like I used to every day as an old banker. Our rates have always been 2%. and then we allow our participating lender, and we cap this to have a servicing fee of 0.75% or 75 basis points. So the cost to the participant for their part of the loan that they participate with us is a fixed 2.75% interest rate, and that can be fixed up to 15 years. So as rates continue to go up, this is we'll see more interest. For about the first year that I was in this position, we were seeing about $1 million in new requests coming in each month, and we had about $1 million coming back in return of principal and interest each month. So we were self-funding all the new obligations as they were going out the door. We've now, the last 2 months, have seen this increase to $2 million, so we anticipate this to continue to grow. We'll continue to update you on this program, but it is a great tool that we have in addition to our programs and our grants and forgivable loans, but also to have this lending opportunity. We will be heading next week to the state fair, and so I always enjoy this time as I tell you about how I've been traveling Kentucky. The next couple of weeks, I will be at one place, and Kentucky will be coming to see us. So get a chance to stop in Agland while you're over there. You'll see me and large number of my staff there working. And I'll stop now and turn it over to Bill, and he can update you on some of the projects from the last 2 months.
Okay, thank you, Brian. When we're not helping the Cecil family in Davis County harvest 450 acres of watermelons, we're in the application taking business, and we want to update you on the last 2 board meetings in June and July. And just since we talked about the watermelons, we did ask how many loads of watermelons, tractor-trailer loads of watermelons, did they ship out? And the company they're working with said 600 tractor-trailer loads. And I said, well, how many families is that? They said, that's one family. That's the Cecil family. And it's good to see that diversification of their operation, because at one time they were a major tobacco producer, and they've transitioned from tobacco into other enterprises, namely watermelon. So it was good to see it. All right, so to give you an update at the June 17th board meeting, we'll start with page 1, gives you an update on programs that were funded. In the CAPE program, almost $3 million in 14 counties, and as Director Lacefield mentioned, the county allocation this year for 2022 off the master summary is $19 million, and 85% of that will be invested, county money, $19 million will be invested in the CAPE program for the various reasons that Director Lacefield mentioned earlier. And also would mention that for every applicant that receives no more than $5,000, the maximum they can receive is $5,000 in the CAPE program. They have to attend an educational program. So we talk about $700 million invested in county and state funds are obviously the tangible part of it. The intangible is that education requirement where we're utilizing the University of Kentucky and Kentucky State University Extension Service to provide education for any applicant and help them, again, implement best management practices on the farm. So again, they're tied, they get the funds, they have to attend an educational session. Then under deceased farm animal removal, we have 3 applications, approved for $41,700. And then the youth program, Breathitt County and Nicholas County for $30,000. And we're going to present some counties that operate their own youth program later on, Jessamine County and Davis County. But the Ag Development Board and staff developed a structured youth program back in 2016. And so since that time, we're seeing more counties utilize this program. Last year, 32 counties utilized county money to provide cost share programs for youth across the state. Moving on to page 2, we've got amendments. So you can see that Whitley County added additional $3,000 to their CAPE program to bring the total to $35,726. And for your information, their allocation for 2022 was just $36,781. So most of their CAPE money, or most of their county money is allocated to the CAPE program. Owsley County, their total allocation for 2022 was $160,568, and you can see they were recently approved. They were originally approved for $155,000. Now they're going to add $122,500 to the CAPE program to bring it to $277,500. So obviously they're rolling money over from previous allocations. Lee County, their total allocation for 2022 was $52,277. So they're going to add $40,000 to the $50,000 they originally approved to bring it to $90,000. Again, counties rolling money over. In some situations, counties will only offer a CAPE program every other year, where again they're rolling their money over to the next year where they can offer more money at one time. And then page 3, we see Washington County has made amendment to their CAPE program of $127,500, bringing it total of $268,700. And then the youth program, they request an additional $10,000. Obviously, after they were able to measure the demand, they knew they needed additional funds, so they have that option within a 12-month period to ask for allocate additional county funds to bring that to $40,350. Moving on to page 4, the June meeting. Give you an update on the on-farm energy incentives program. So we have quarterly application deadlines. So you can see 9 applications were approved for a total of $82,958. To be eligible, a farmer would have to be purchasing equipment or technology that would result in energy savings verified by a professional engineer. We work closely with the University of Kentucky that will evaluate the project that the farmer or producer plans to implement. They'll measure what the savings is going to be based on the new project, and if it has a payback of less than 25 years, then it's eligible for funding. So if you look at the first project in Breckinridge County, that's going to be a major produce operator is going to upgrade their walk-in freezer and cooler, which obviously is important as part of a produce operation. The next project, Representative Dossett, is in Christian County, so they're going to update their poultry operation, be insulation on their tunnel doors. LaRue County is also going to be making upgrades on their operation of processing produce there at Lee's Plant Farms, and that's going to be solar panels. So we see a lot of interest in solar panels at the farm level. Sustainable Harvest, a major horticulture operation there in Laurel County, is going to upgrade their tenant farm, tenant housing. So they'll have as many as 20 migrant workers helping to harvest their produce. So they've upgraded the accommodations and making it more efficient. Muhlenberg County, that's a poultry operation upgrading with solar panels. Ohio County, Edge Brothers Poultry, upgraded insulation in their poultry operation. Ohio, Nathaniel Dowry, their poultry operation, they're going to be installing upgraded or updated heaters. And then the Pulaski County is a dairy operation, upgrading with new fans. And then we've got a Webster County, Lancaster Poultry, several improvements in their heaters, lights, and fans. To give you an idea of what kind of projects are being funded with the on-farm energy program. Page 5, we have one of the applicants approved for the on-farm water small-scale grant program in Laurel County. So this is a program designed to help farmers that would be improving or do a better job with water resource management. This is a poultry operation, so it's going to be irrigation system. They're approved for $10,000. And then moving into projects, we're on page 6. Davis County Conservation District, they have a separate youth program, or separate from the guideline program approved by the board. So it's $20,000. They're going to limit the youth to $1,250. In the youth program adopted by the state, the maximum is $1,500, but that all has to be on a prorated basis. And this project is different in that they score the applicants, and so the highest scored applicants are awarded the funds. In their application, they indicate they've been doing this for a number of years. Total investment through the Davis County Conservation District youth program has been $300,000. Average payout of $857 to youth in Davis County. Moving on to page 7, staying with Davis County 4-H. Council, they were approved for $1,036 in Davis County funds to purchase livestock-based learning labs. Evidently, there's a structured program offered through Ohio State University, and you can see that they'll be concentrating on small animals, sheep, goat, rabbit, and poultry as part of the 4-H Council or 4-H program there in Davis County. And these materials will be used to help members learn more about individual animal parts, breeds, purposes, reproduction, health, diseases, and exhibition methods. Next, moving on to page number 8. So Jessamine County, they operate their own approach to the youth program. The individual has been involved in this is Carl Waits, and since 2001, Representative King is acting like she's aware of Carl Waits. He's quite a colorful character, I would say, but really has a passion for agriculture and administering these programs and helping the youth. So this program is structured where applicants can receive up to $500 the first year, and then second year is $250, and then they're not eligible after that. Representative King, you want to make any comments there on great things going on in Jessamine County? All right, page 9, Grayson County Farm Bureau of Grayson County was approved for $5,000, a part of $10,000 to purchase grain bin rescue equipment. This is a project that we are excited when we get a report back on these type and it hadn't been used. We hope these type of funded projects, Director Lacefield, that we never see used. We get a report and say it got a bunch of goose eggs on it. So next is moving on to page 10. So we've got Goldie Meats in Crittenden County. They were approved for $11,129 in county and state monies to update their refrigeration system in their newly purchased building. So they were funded or approved in 2021 for $30,000 to upgrade their meat handling and grinding facility in their shop that they operated on adjacent to their resident in Crittenden County. So business is doing well. So they have purchased, working with their lender, a 10,000 square foot building there in Crittenden County where they plan to expand their operation. This is a request to purchase or upgrade their refrigeration system. Next, we have page 11, Edmar Farms. It's the lone dairy operation in Kenton County, Representative Roberts. They requested $85,446 in county and state funds to relocate and expand a barn infrastructure to their dairy operation. So they have a robotic milking operation. I think the applicant is Eddie Gibson, was the first robotic milker introduced into Kentucky several years ago. We helped him financing it using the Kentucky Agri Finance Corporation, working with his local lender with Farm Credit. I think we have now maybe 6 robotic milkers in the state, and I think we've helped finance all of them except one through the Kentucky Agricultural Finance Corporation. So the board had a lot of discussion about this project, and ultimately they limited it to just county money because it's just going to impact one producer, and that's Eddie Gibson. And when the board looks at a project to request state money, they're looking for multi-producer, multi-county impact before they'll look at investing state money. So they limit this to county money. The Kenton County Council, County Agricultural Development Council, did commit $5,000 to this project. He did make a request through the Kentucky Ag Finance Corporation that Director Lacefield mentioned earlier, working with lender Farm Credit. So he has been approved for $76,895 into low interest money at 2 3/4. So that brings total amount available from the Kentucky Office of Ag Policy is $81,895, which leaves a balance of $88,999 that he will be able to finance working with his lender, which is Farm Credit. Page 11. All right, next going to page 12, we've got the Meade County Fair. Was approved for $27,000 in county money, construct a new multi-species and covered wash rack there at the Meade County Fairgrounds. And you can see the matching dollars is coming from Cecilia Bank and some private funds that they plan to use to be able to complete the project. Next, we're going on to page 13. We've got Twin Lakes Veterinarian Service. So the veterinarian is Dr. Katie Sullivan. She graduated from Auburn University, and we've all had a lot of discussion about the need for large animal practitioners. So we always get excited when we get a request to help in service or increase the service for a large food animal veterinarian service. So this young lady, again, graduated from Auburn in 2017, worked for 4 years at a veterinary business or clinic in Glasgow, and then decided to come back to her home county of Wayne County. And you can see that the county council supported the request to purchase cattle handling facilities there that will be located on the premises of her clinic in downtown Monticello. So that'll better utilize her services. I think she's the only veterinarian, or at least large animal veterinarian there in Wayne County. So she can now just walk out the back door and be able to practice large animal practice or services there on the premises where cattle producers, livestock producers can bring animals there, and then she can apply her practice without having to travel outside the office. So that commitment of $9,500. And you can see, looking at the support from the Wayne County Cattlemen's Association, Wayne County Farm Bureau, in addition, Dr. Sullivan is also going to provide $7,500 to make this happen. Okay, moving on to page 14. So we have Trackside Butcher Shop. You're probably familiar with this project. Currently operating in Henry County. They're processing 65 beef and 50 to 20 hogs a week. They have requested, are working on a new project of $100,000 or $200,000 to upgrade their facility and increase their processing capacity, specifically with their refrigeration and cooler system. So the board, recognizing that meat processor or increase in meat processing capacity has been a priority from the Ag Development Board. I think we've updated you on that in the recent months or in past meetings. And so we're willing to look and evaluate this on county money matched with state money up to $100,000 or half of the cost of the project, which is going to allow them to increase their capacity up to 80 beef and 20 to 25 hogs. We'll compliment the young men that are involved in this project. They are willing, when we work with other meat processors or startup meat processors, when we've got new applications from applicants looking to establish or start up a business, oftentimes they'll say, when we ask, where's your experience, that we've been working up at Trackside. They allow them to come in and work with them to help them learn more about the business. So they've been great in supporting the meat processing industry by allowing startup businesses to come in and work with them. All right, next we're on to page 15, the Kentucky Association of Meat Processors. So this is an organization that's been in existence for several years, not a whole lot of activity because they haven't had funding to be able to provide any kind of services to the industry. In light of the fact that the Ag Development Board in last couple of years has invested over $7 million in 40 meat processors kind of across the state, which is half of the meat processors that we have identified providing meat processing service in the state. So about 80 meat processors, USDA inspected, providing custom or USDA inspected services where they can resell, have been supported by the Ag Development Board. So then one of the concerns is being able to support these meat processors across the state by having an association that can work with them in providing outreach activities and helping address labor shortages, food safety. Although UK can help at a very limited amount, Dr. Craig Renfro, the board sees a need for be able to increase these kind of services and have an association that represents the 80 plus meat processors in the state. So they were approved for $95,940 to be able to hire some part-time staff. And the board of directors will be meat processors from across the state, like Trackside we mentioned earlier. John Edwards has agreed to be on the board and develop their program to help the meat processors and have a statewide meat processors association.
One question here. Representative Webb.
I'm just.
Senator
I've
Webb,
been,
I'm sorry.
I've been both answered anything. On the sustainability of the structure, having meat processors now in my district, yay, two major ones. What's the sustainability, the funding model for the salary and the administration cost after the initial money's put in?
Well, several of the meat processing business that are involved in this association are also members of other state association and national association, and a lot of those are funded through dues and through sponsorship of companies that provide equipment, for example. So there is the expectation that they will be able to generate income or revenue in the future, but this has helped jumpstart this organization that the board felt like was needed to be able to represent these 80 plus meat processors across the state.
Yeah, I echo that. The sustainability of all the businesses is so important. That's why the board deviated from their normal 50% match to go ahead and fully fund this on the front end to get it started, with that expectation that they will now use these first couple of years to get started to figure out this will not be supported just by association membership dues. It will take corporate participation.
Yeah, I thought so, but I just think it's important when there is a deviation or something to put it on the record as to what the structure is and why. But appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, moving on to page 6, staying with the meat processing theme, we've got Green River Meats LLC that requested and was approved for state ag development funds and any county funds and get committed to the project. So this is a $2.2 million startup meat processing that when they submitted the application, the plan was to locate in Greensburg. It's actually going to be located in Taylor County on a farm owned by one of the applicants. So the two applicants are Dr. Randy Smoot. He's a dentist in Taylor County. Interesting that his career started with a degree in agriculture, worked for Southern States a couple of years, Representative Dossett, and then decided to go back to dental school, and then he's been a practicing dentist for several years. He is offering several farms as collateral for the loan. So you can see the breakdown is $250,000 from Ag Development Funds. That's been the limit that the Ag Development Board has provided in a forgivable loan for meat processors, and then any county money that they can get committed to the project. In this case, they're going to be requesting $210,000. And then the Ag Finance Corporation did approve $750,000 to support this project, working with the Citizens Bank and Trust Company in Taylor County. And then there is a partner in this, Tim Jeffries, who's a full-time farmer, will be working with Dr. Smoot to establish and launch this business. And that concludes the June board meetings. Page 17 and 18 is the press release. If there's no questions, Representative Doss will move on to the July board meeting. So see page 1 and 2 gives the total for programs that were funded at the July meeting, $2,406,171. Had two amendments. Taylor County increased their CAPE program to $205,423, and then Marion County increased their CAPE application or program to $195,000. Moving on to page 4, we got the Lincoln County Fire Protection District was approved for $2,150 to purchase some rescue tubes and additional equipment. Next, on to page 5, so we've got the Elliott County Board of Education was approved $15,000 in Elliott County funds as part of a $30,000 greenhouse project. And to quote the FFA teacher, Michaela Lewis, said this project will teach our youth about plants, food, and agriculture pathways pertaining to horticulture. What I think is significant about that, previous generations we worked in the tobacco fields. Now we're trying to introduce them to horticulture production, and one way to do that is providing or making investment in greenhouse here at the high school. So this brings over 50 greenhouses that have been supported with the ag development funds that you all support across the state in grade schools and high schools. And then next we're on to page 6. So University of Kentucky Research Foundation, they were approved for $352,145 in state funds to continue their two-year funding to support the viticulturalist and enologist program, enologist being the winemaking specialist. So one of the first studies that the Ag Development Board commissioned was a evaluation of the potential for grape production and wine production in the state. As a result of that study, they said you need to have technical support out there, and that needs to be you need to have a viticulturalist and enologist working at your land grant university. So that's one of the reasons that the Ag Development Board, Representative Brown, continues to support UK in this research. Now, we've had mixed results on that. Right now, there's a challenge of growing grapes. It's very labor intensive. Grapes are susceptible to a cold freeze in Kentucky every 10 years. That's one of the projects that UK is working on the grape production, is trying to develop varieties that will be hardy in Kentucky. So the production has been fairly flat here at 200 acres of grapes. We've seen an increase in the number of wineries. UK reports there's 7 wineries here in the state of Kentucky utilizing some of those grapes, but the business model of a winery is you want to have a different product mix of wines. When a carload of tourists show up, everyone in the car wants a different variety of wine. You can't grow, it's not practical to grow all those different kind of grapes on your farm. So a lot of these wineries will purchase grape juice or grapes out of state as a way to meet that demand that they have. And it can in some cases be more efficient or more economical to buy grape juice and grapes out of state and bring them in and process them at one of the 70 wineries that we have in the state. Nevertheless, it does create an opportunity for farmers to diversify into grape production, but for the reasons I mentioned earlier, it has been a challenging industry to see any kind of increase in the production side of it. I think that represents all the projects we have. Yes, and we've got page 7 and 8 is the press release.
Thank you, Bill. Do we have any questions? Yes, Senator Webb.
I couldn't help but think about when you're talking about Elliott County, they still have the Tobacco Festival to honor their heritage, but I think it's duly noted that the diversification has certainly helped that area. So thank you.
Thank you both very much. Brian, do please keep us informed on, as you mentioned, the loan program. I know we were having a conversation earlier looking across the state at what our crop yields, what the potentials are here over this fall due to the weather that we're experiencing across the whole Commonwealth, but do keep us informed on that of how that loan program is working.
All right, we'll be glad to do that.
Thank you both very much. And our next presenter will be with discussing Kentucky Double Dollars. That's Martin Richards, who's the Executive Director of the Community Farm Alliance.
An even greener green light. It is my delight to be here today, especially during National Farmers Market Week this week. Commissioner Quarles and I had the pleasure of kind of kicking off the week on Tuesday at Berea Farmers Market. And,
Marty,
Yep.
Before we begin, please introduce yourself for the record, please.
My apologies.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Martin Richards. I'm the Executive Director of Community Farm Alliance. As I was saying, National Farmers Market Week this week. So we've been pretty busy. And Commissioner Quarles and I kicked it off Tuesday night at Berea Farmers Market. Commissioner signed a declaration from Department of Agriculture noting the week. And as we speak, the Lieutenant Governor is at New American Farmers Market in Louisville with CFA staff, also presenting the governor's proclamation for this week. And I've got staff, I don't know how many markets, we're visiting so many markets this week, including, I think, Kimmy, you and I are, Friday, we're here in Franklin County Farmers Market. Anyway, let me go back for a minute. I'm going to mention these three programs of ours. They're all kind of connected. Ag Development, Tobacco Settlement Funds are funding the Farmers Market Support Program as well as Kentucky Double Dollars. The Fresh RX for Moms program is funded exclusively right now through USDA. So again, as I presented each year, we have three goals for these programs: increasing income for Kentucky farmers, increasing access to healthy food for folks, and to leverage these federal dollars that are coming into our state and getting them circulated in our local economies. So again, the three programs today. Farmers Market program was the first one that we rolled out 8 years ago. Shortly after that, we started the Double Dollars program. For that, both of those have continued to grow. As again, 8 years ago, we started at 6 farmers markets in Eastern Kentucky, and today we have Double Dollars at over 70 outlets across the state. The Fresh RX program we started as kind of an outgrowth of that work, and we piloted that 3 years ago at Community Farmers Market in Bowling Green with Well Care. And then we got a USDA grant, and now that is at 11 farmers markets. So, it is to really get the next generation started off as healthy as we can, getting the moms as good a nutrition as we can for them. We're excited about that program. And then just some of the impacts. Again, this is from last year for the Farmers Market Support Program. Marketing support, the capital support for markets that is primarily funded through ag development funds. But during COVID, we got a number of private foundations that also kicked in money to help the farmers markets to be a safe place for people to shop, especially for moms and seniors and folks like that, and as well as technical assistance. For it, we every year all the markets provide us with their annual reports, and we like to get quotes right from the people on the ground. A couple quotes here, and I think the Clay County Farmers Market is actually they're one of the markets who are being affected by the flooding right now, and I think they have shut down for the year. I'm sorry this map is hard to read, but I just wanted to show the impact across the state of Double Dollars as well as the Farmers Market Support Program for that. So Kentucky Double Dollars, again, it is actually 4 incentive programs, so doubling up the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program vouchers that folks get, as well as the senior vouchers, and then SNAP fruits and vegetables for SNAP participants, and then the SNAP meats, egg, and dairy. So, we feel, and, we're a cattle state too, right? I think healthy protein is an important part of our diet, so that's why, we include the meat, eggs, and dairy to make it available for SNAP folks. And Master Tobacco Settlement Funds support the WIC, the seniors, and the SNAP meat, eggs, and dairy. The SNAP fruits and vegetables is funded through USDA grant. And again, you can see just over these past 6 years here, the kind of growth of these programs out there, including retail. And we all know that retail is the big one, and that's where most folks shop, especially folks utilizing the federal nutrition programs. And it takes quite a bit. It's quite a bit different to administer a program like this at retail as opposed to a farmer's market. But we have been really pleased in working initially with Good Foods Co-op in Lexington, and now with CW Foods, who have a chain of IGAs in East Kentucky. Really excited about what can happen there and expanding that retail component across the state. Just some graphs to just give an idea how much this Double Dollar program has grown, especially during the pandemic. It grew a lot again, I think, some grocery stores were struggling with that long tail supply chain. And the federal government pushed out more monies through the PEBT program, of which we also accepted in Double Dollars. And that graph right there in redemptions kind of shows that beginning last year, beginning 2020 through last year. So I want to give you a little bit of the numbers about ag development funding and that return on investment. Again, ag development has funded for, I think, how long has it been, Bill? It's quite. I'm asking him to cipher in his head too. So, but it's been probably since 2016, I would guess, that ag development has supported this program, especially the market manager cost share, which really supports, especially the small markets, the rural markets, a market manager that makes all the difference in the world. And I think that we had those quotes a couple slides back that shows that. But ag development, last year kicked in, a little over $27,000. We also raised an additional $32,000 from private funders. And then it's a match program, a 1-to-1, so the markets kick in a match. And so overall, $91,000 was leveraged through the ag development investment. And then UK SEDIC has done the economic multiplier calculations for us. So all told, I think over 7 to 1 return on investment from ag development funds for this cost share program. And then kind of similar analysis for the Kentucky Double Dollars as well. Ag development last year supported with a little over $96,000. We were then able to leverage, almost twice that through other funding. And then, the Double Dollars were again, doubled up the federal food nutrition program dollars for that, but all in told, it was over $800,000 in economic impact through this program, and an even better return on investment for that. And again, when you combine the two overall, I think it's, from my perspective anyway, I think it's a pretty good return on investment for these master tobacco settlement funds. This slide is also hard to see, but I wanted to show that the USDA released this. So in 2013, there was only 55 Kentucky farmers markets who accepted SNAP. By 2020, it had risen to 80 markets. And that was, a significant increase in there, as well as redemption of SNAP benefits at these farmers markets, over 123% increase in SNAP redemptions at Kentucky farmers markets. I think that's remarkable. I don't think it's a coincidence that those years overlap the same as the Double Dollar program. And right now, 71 of the 80 farmers markets in Kentucky who accept SNAP are part of the Double Dollar program. I think we, as well as Department of Agriculture, would like to increase that. And that's one reason we provide the technical assistance, as well as like the seniors and the WIC programs are pretty easy to administer. So if we can get the markets accepting WIC and seniors and give them technical assistance as well as helping them get the EBT machines and everything like that, ultimately then moving them into accepting SNAP. And again, I think it becomes a win-win for the markets, the farmers, and the community. One new thing I want to let you know, we just received a 3-year USDA Farmers Market Promotional Program grant. So this is to provide, getting a little more hands-on with the farmers markets. I think we have seen over the last 8 years, farmers markets in Kentucky have actually become pretty proficient, and I think we're seeing them regard themselves as businesses unto themselves and learning how to manage the farmers market as a business. And so now we're taking it to the next level with some really focused support for these markets. So this year, 5 markets were accepted into this program. And again, we have, working again with these important partners. And I'm so happy that through this funding, we're able to also support, these other 5 organizations, including the Department of Agriculture, to be able to have the capacity to support farmers markets at the next level. A little more about this year. We had 27 applications for the Market Manager Support Program, 45 for Kentucky Double Dollars, which is down a little bit from last year. And I think we're still seeing some fallout from COVID and other things like that. Couple of the specific challenges this year, Department of Agriculture moved the WIC and senior programs to a debit card system, a digital system. So it was completely new system where the markets and the farmers were used to having paper vouchers.
I think you've cut your microphone off.
But we did, and then it got launched in July, again, a month late. So we saw immediate, people responding in July. And then, of course, the flooding, right, that we have in Eastern Kentucky. So we are doing, reaching out to the markets and farmers right now. We're finding 2 situations. Some of the markets, the farmers still have product, although some like in Clay County in particular, one farm has the product, but they can't get it out, right, because the roads are impassable. But anyway, some of the markets, some of the farmers have product, but they don't have the customers who are impacted because of this. Some of the markets have the customers, but the farmers have been impacted on it, right? So, we're still assessing all this. Tomorrow we have a meeting. I think our hope is to increase that double dollar ratio for those Eastern Kentucky counties. Again, it's like 1-to-1, right? We are looking to double or triple that up, so that folks can get, potentially 3 times their SNAP benefits for purchasing Kentucky grown products. The USDA grant that supports the SNAP fruits and vegetables, we are in our last year of that grant. So we submitted a new grant this year. Some of you know, because we've been talking to you all for a while about this, that federal grant needs a 1-to-1 match. So we only were able to do a modest application for 2 years because of our challenges of raising the match. So, we requested a little over $850,000 over 2 years because we were limited by our ability to generate the same amount in match over those 2 years. Nonetheless, we still plan on expanding it again to 8 more retail sites, as many farmers markets. We're also working on CSAs as a potential source to double those up and make those more accessible for that. And then hopefully in 2 years, we will have resolved or been able to generate more match that allows us to expand this program even farther and throughout Kentucky. We are also our 2-year grant from Ag Development is up this year, so we'll be submitting another application to Ag Development here late fall. And one thing y'all talked about and have been supporting expanding meat processing in the state, and we're seeing the benefit of that. Of course, we double up meat, eggs, and dairy at the farmers markets. But the IGAs have asked us, like, oh, could we do that too? Right. And so, want to have that conversation, one, about the funding aspect, if Ag Development is willing to fund Kentucky raised and processed meat at retail outlets, so that, again, SNAP recipients can enjoy the benefits of Kentucky livestock producers there. And the other part with retail is that we have to work on the aggregation distribution, working with producers as well as distributors and getting product there. It's a conversation we're having, but I'm excited about where that could potentially lead us and the impact on Kentucky agriculture. And so, again, I may be sitting here, but it is a whole lot of folks that are really making this work. And I would love any questions if there are.
Yes, do we have any questions? Representative King?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for being here today. I certainly appreciate your presentation. I always look forward to it every
Thank you,
summer. Do you know what the challenge is in my 2 counties that don't participate, and what can I do to help them get up to speed and participate in these good programs?
It's a good question. I mean, I think we reach out every year. We try to reach out to every year to the farmers markets. I think it's a mix of stuff. Some of it is, us farmers are a very conservative lot. And I think the first question is for a farmer's market is like, who's going to run this program, right? Who on any given Saturday, right? Who is the person that is going to accept the EBT cards or something like that, right? So they have that question. And of course, that is why the market manager cost share has been so effective, because it helps support that opportunity, and then there's the technology that might be involved for that. And again, I think because the WIC and seniors have been paper vouchers and that are handed directly to the farmers in the past, that has been an easy entry point into these kind of programs. That has all changed now, again, with the Department of Ag moving to, a card, likewise for that. And then, just the technology that is involved with getting the machines and running the machines for that. And then I think, the reporting that is required. And I think this year is our first year, I think, we changed that system up. We constantly think about, how can we simplify this, right? How can we make it easy for the markets, to do this, that, allows us to administer the funds and then, report to whether it's USDA or Ag Development from all that. So, I think between us and Department of Agriculture, we are all willing to sit down with any market and try to walk them through it. But the other part, and this is an important part, is the match, right? Sometimes, just coming up with $1,000 match because of the requirement, I think can be intimidating, right? Folks where am I going to get $1,000? We can also help those markets with those fundraising, especially with how other markets have done that. And we are working more and more with community foundations to get those community foundations to step up. So I think the market manager and the match are the single biggest obstacles, but we're here to help.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? Martin, you and I have had a conversation concerning your federal match on this program for the $852,000, and I promise you that I'll do what I can to support you on this right here. I know it's very important. One of the things I did want to ask you, as we've seen the inflationary costs go up on food products, I know my wife and I were just discussing a couple of weeks ago how much eggs have increased in price. How is that impacting people's access right there to be able to get out of products?
Well, I think double dollars has been an inflationary fighting tool, right? I mean, the other thing that we see, and I need to get up with the Center for Crop Diversification at UK because they monitor prices at select farmers markets. But I think just from talking with my staff, that the prices have risen at farmers markets, right? Again, because farmers have increased costs for inputs, but not to the same as at the grocery store, right? Well, one is like, the amount of miles that California head of lettuce has to come and the increased cost of fuel to get it here, it has to show up at the supermarket. It does, don't have that same kind of impact at the farmers markets, right? So farmers have had to raise their prices at the markets, for instance, but not to the extent of long distance.
Well, and that's the beauty of those farmers markets, because that produce, those products are being grown locally.
I think that same holds true at the retail level too, right? I mean, I think typically if you go into a retailer and you have Kentucky produce and you have, California or Mexico or something like that, the out-of-state produce is going to appear cheaper. And there's a whole lot of reasons for that. But with the double dollars program, right, suddenly the Kentucky produce is more affordable, right, than importing that. And that is one of the challenges, I think, is for us collectively is matching the supply with the demand for that.
Well, and as you mentioned, they're in Eastern Kentucky with produce that could be sitting in the field with no way to get it out. That's we continue to offer our prayers there. I know after what we experienced in Western Kentucky last winter with the tornadoes, and now we're seeing this in Eastern Kentucky. It's it just puts so much stress, and it's devastating of what it does to everyone. But we'll continue keeping everyone in our prayers there.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate it. I do want to let everyone know our next meeting will be scheduled for Thursday, September the 15th, 30. And we'll have a report from the Cabinet for Health and Family Services on tobacco prevention and cessation. If there are no other questions, can I have a motion to adjourn? Second, we are adjourned.